Hello everyone and welcome to this video which is planned to explain in details the classical poetries prescribed by ICSE for grade 9 and 10 students. Yes, I'm talking about the textbook Treasure Trove, which is a collection of poems like The Heart of a Tree, The Cold Within, The Bengal Cellars, After Blenheim, Television, Daffodils, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, The Patriot, About Ben Adam, 9 gold medals. So, in this video, we are going to see poem number 1, that is The Heart of the Tree. Before we see the poem, let us know why do we learn poetry. In English literature, poetries are very important. Poetry promotes literacy, builds community, and encourages expressive spirit. It can help us cross the boundaries. Poetry is all about rhythm and music and sounds and beats. It attracts you towards the sounds, words, and perhaps inspires you to create your own. You should know about rhyme scheme before you learn poetry. Rhyme scheme is the pattern of rhyme that comes at the end of each verse or line in poetry. There are a number of rhyme schemes used in poetry. We have AABB rhyme scheme in the famous poem Twinkle Twinkle Little Star by Donald Barthelme. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Kindly observe this poem for its each and every line. In first line, you see the last word is star, which rhymes with the last word of second line are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. In these two lines, kindly observe the last word of each line. Third line says the last word is high, which rhymes with the last word of fourth line, sky. So this way, you can see a clear pattern of rhyme or a rhyme scheme as AABB. Let us know more about rhyme schemes. What is alternate rhyme? It is also known as ABAB rhyme scheme. It rhymes as AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GH, GH. Ballad contains 3 stanzas with the rhyme scheme of ABA, BBC, BC followed by BCBC. Monorhyme. It is a poem in which every line uses the same rhyme scheme. Couplet. It contains 2-line stanzas with the AA rhyme scheme, which often appears as AA, BB, CC, and DD. Triplet. It often repeats like a couplet, uses rhyme scheme of AAA. There are some more rhyme schemes given here. Enclosed rhyme. It uses rhyme scheme of ABBA. Here, BB are enclosed with AA. Treza Rima rhyme scheme. It uses tercets, 3-line stanzas. Its interlocking pattern on end words follows ABA, BCB, CDC, DED, and so on. Keats' Ode rhyme scheme. In his famous Odes, Keats used a specific rhyme scheme which is ABA, BCD, ECDE. Limerick. Limerick poem uses 5 lines with a rhyme scheme of AABBA. Villanelle, a 19-line poem consisting of 5 tercets and a final quatrain. It uses a rhyme scheme of A1BA2, ABA1, ABA2, ABA1, ABA2, ABA1A2. So now let us finally move on to the poem The Heart of the Tree. The Heart of the Tree. The Heart of the Tree is written by the American poet and novelist Henry Cuyler Bunner, who was born on 3rd August 1855 and died on 11th May 1896 at the age of 41. This poem is a fine piece of poetry with a simple theme and a simpler structure. The poem was originally published in 1912. Let us look at the language and rhyme scheme of the poem, The Heart of the Tree. The language of the poem is very simple. Poet has selected words very carefully to make the poem more expressive and obviously musical and attractive. The rhyme scheme is ABA, BBC, CAA for each stanza. Now, let us know more about the rhyme scheme. Let's know more about the poem. Planting a tree is always a great work for the mankind, but in the poem, The Heart of the Tree, the poet has found out new ways to look at the plants and plantation. In his poem, he glorifies the act further to show how a tree helps life on the earth. In the poem, the poet establishes a direct connection between tree planting and the growth of the nation. There are 3 stanzas in the poem, The Heart of the Tree. In every stanza, the poet has a question: what the man actually plants who plants a tree? Then he chooses to reply it by himself and shows what a tree means to the humankind and to the nature. This way, he proves how great the man is who plants the tree. The rhyme scheme of The Heart of the Tree is ABA, BBC, CA. You can check. What does he plant who plants a tree? Just concentrate on the last word of this line. And it rhymes with the 3rd line's last word, that is free. So, you can this way observe that the rhyme scheme is ABA, BBCC. Poetic devices in the heart of the tree. This portion of explanation is very important. Kindly go through it very seriously. The poem is a good example of alliteration. We can observe close repetition of consonant sounds. Just see. He plants a friend of sun and sky. In first line, you can see the use of S in the sun and in the sky. He plants a home to heaven a nigh. H, home, H, heaven. In hushed and happy twilight heart. He plants a flag of breezes free. So here in these 4 lines, you could see that in first line, S words are repeated like sun and sky, H words like home and heaven, hushed and happy and heart. These are H words. He plants a flag of breezes free. Flag and free are F words. So there is a repetition of consonant sound. Metonymy. Metonymy is a figure of speech in which one word or phrase is substituted by something that is closely associated with it. In this poem, the phrases cool shade, tender rain, sap and leaf and wood are metonyms used for tree. In the first stanza, in the line, he plants a home to heaven a nigh. Heaven represents the sky. Metaphor. It is a figure of speech in which a similarity between 2 different things is established but not mentioned directly. Here in the poem, the branches of a tree are compared to a flag. Just read the line, he plants the flag of breezes free. So the branches of tree are compared to a flag. Personification. It is a figure of speech in which abstract ideas or non-living objects are given characteristics of living beings. For instance, the poet personifies the tree when he calls it a friend of sun and sky. Polysyndeton. It is a figure of speech used for close repetition of conjunctions. Just read the line. He plants in sap and leaf and wood. Just see how nicely conjunction end is repeated. Now let's see the theme of the poem, The Heart of the Tree. This poem spins around the concept of environmental conservation and keeping greenery around. It makes you feel the heart of the tree. The poet has personified the tree with human-like qualities. By giving human-like qualities to the tree, he wants to influence the readers to plant one and consider cutting down of a tree a crime. The poet addresses issues of conservation by giving a simple and effective solution: plant more trees. There are some hard words or group of words which are new to you. Let us look at them and their meanings. Flag of breeze. By the expression "the flag of breeze is free," the poet compares the leafy green branches of a tree to flag flying freely in the breeze. Shaft of beauty. A shaft of beauty means a passage or a beam of beauty. Towering high, very high. Heaven anigh, almost like a heaven. Mother croon. Mother croon of the bird means the voice in which the mother bird communicates with the baby. Twilight, the soft glowing light from the sky when the sun is below the horizon. It caused by the reflection of the sun's rays from the atmosphere. Treble, consisting of three parts, threefold. Tender, gentle, kind, and affectionate. Seeds and buds of days. Seeds and buds of days means that the seed sown by you will one day have buds, and once these buds burst will again disperse seeds and the cycle will continue. Years that fade and flush. Years that fade and flush again refer to universal running of time. Glory of plain. The poet sees the trees as the glory of the plain. As the hills and rocks make a mountainous area beautiful, trees hold the beauty of the plain land. Heritage. Something that is handed down from the past as a tradition. Unborn eyes. Eyes of a child who is yet not born. Sap. The fluid which circulates in the vascular system of a plant. Loyalty, the quality of being loyal. Farcast, farsighted. Hollow, having a hole or empty space inside. Now let's see the explanation of the heart of the tree. Let me read 2 lines of the first stanza. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants a friend of sun and sky. The opening line of poem, "What does he plant who plants a tree?" sets the tone for the entire poem. We quickly understand that the poet wants to highlight the usefulness of planting a tree. However, in the next line, the poet himself tells that by planting a tree, a man plants a friend of sun and sky, since when the plant grows upward, it aims to reach the sun and the sky. This way, the sun and the sky get a new friend in shape of a tree. The tree needs sunlight and air to survive, and it seems to absorb the heat and save the earth from the scorching sun. So this way, the sun becomes friendly in the presence of the trees. He plants the flag of breezes free, the shaft of beauty towering high. The speaker now adds that the man plants a flag that flies freely in the mild breeze. The poet here compares the leafy branches of the tree to a flag and the stem to the beautiful shaft of the flag that stands tall. He plants a hope to heaven anigh for song and mother croon of a bird. By planting a tree, the man plants a home for the sweet singing birds high in the sky, near the heaven, so he keeps the earth habitable for birds and helps in maintaining the ecosystem. In hushed and happy twilight heard the treble of heaven's harmony. These things he plants who plants a tree. In quiet and happy twilight, we can hear those birds chirping, which is harmonious to the heaven's own tunes. In the entire first stanza of the heart of the tree, the poet accentuates the importance of trees in maintaining the holistic beauty of nature. Moreover, the use of words like heaven anigh Heaven's harmony and towering high is aimed at giving an impression that the work of planting a tree is indeed a heavenly and glorious job. The finishing line of the stanza forms a logical whole with the opening line, one asking a question and the other completing the answer. Let us see the lines of second stanza. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants cool shade and tender rain. So the poet repeats the question to begin a new stanza and attempts to answer again in the subsequent lines. The tree he plants provides us with cool shade and helps in bringing rain. And seed and bud of days to be, and years that fade and flush again. A tree will produce seed and bud in future. Years will pass silently, but the tree will remain there, through its seeds producing new trees. He plants the glory of the plain. He plants the forest's heritage. Trees are the main elements that make a plain area green and beautiful. So the poet describes trees as the glory of the plain. Moreover, today's single tree may turn into forest someday. So by planting a tree now, the man plants a forest's heritage. The harvest of coming age, the joy that unborn eyes shall see, these things he plants who plants a tree. The speaker mentions that planting a tree today would give fruits in coming days. Our next generations would be delighted seeing so much vegetation and reap its benefits. So all the credit goes to the man who plants a tree. In this stanza of the poem, The Heart of the Tree, the poet stresses on the importance of planting a tree for making this earth a better living place for future generations. Let's see the lines of third stanza. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants in sap and leaf and wood, in love of home and loyalty, and far-cast thought of civic good, his blessings on the neighborhood. What does he plant who plants a tree? He plants in sap and leaf and wood, his love and home and loyalty, and far-cast thought of civic good, his blessings on the neighborhood. By planting a tree, the man shows his love and loyalty for this earth, that is, his home, his sense of civic duty, and his blessings on the neighborhood. All these are reflected in the sap and leaf and wood in every cell of the tree. Who in the hollow of his hand holds all the growth of all our land, a nation's growth from sea to sea, stirs in his heart who plants a tree. By planting a tree, the man directly or indirectly contributes to the nation's growth. When a tree is planted, it sets in motion the progress of a nation from sea to sea. And all these start from the progressive thought in the man's heart who plants a tree. The capitalization in his indicates that the man who plants a tree is all powerful and the destiny maker of a nation. This last line is very important as it talks about the man's heart, his feelings, dreams, and wishes behind planting the tree. This also leads to the poem's title, The Heart of the Tree. Thus, the poet Henry Cuyler Bunner ends up composing an uncommon piece of poetry in The Heart of the Tree out of a common and clutch topic, the usefulness of planting a tree. So, once we have understood the entire poem, let us see what are the important themes which are associated with this poem. The poem, The Heart of the Tree, actually has a number of themes, though the primary focus is on why trees are essential for human existence. The usefulness of a tree. This is the prominent theme in the poem as poet describes how a tree helps in keeping this earth habitable. Appreciation for natural beauty. Henry Bunner here shows his appreciation and demands the same from readers for the beautiful aspects of nature. responsibility for future generation. In the entire second stanza of the poet has talked about our responsibility to make this world a better living place for our future generations. Duty to fellow men and nation. In the third stanza of the poem, Banna talks about how a man can perform his duties towards his neighbors and to his nation by planting a tree. In love of home and loyalty and far-cast thought of civic good, his blessings on the neighborhood, a nation's growth from sea to sea. These lines all convey the theme of responsibility to our fellow men. Now, we are on to the segment of questions and answers. There are some sample questions along with their answers are given in this video. Who is described as a friend of sun and sky? A tree is described as a friend of sun and sky. Tree is a friend of atmosphere. It reduces temperature and purifies air by trapping dust, pollen and smoke. It ensures free, gentle breeze. Thus, it is correctly described as a friend of sun and sky. Next question. Whom does a tree give shelter? How? A tree gives shelter to the birds. It provides them home to stay by allowing them to build their nest on it. Birds dwell on the trees and their sweet songs during dawn delight us and spread the message of peace and harmony. Question. Which literary device has been used in the line in hushed and happy twilight heard? The literacy device used here is the figure of speech alliteration. The initial sound of letter H is repeated here in the word hushed, happy and heard. It is done for poetic effect. Explain the treble of heaven's harmony. Treble means a high-pitched tone in music. Trees provide room for birds to dwell. They sing sweet songs during dawn, which is very soothing. The high tone of the song of the bird is symbolic of heaven's harmony. It provides an atmosphere of calm and comfort. It gives the message to the world, the message about peace and harmony. Now describe the things one plants along with planting a tree mentioned in the above stanza. The poet mentions the enormous things one plants while he plants a tree. Trees provide abundant benefits. The purity of air comes through plants. Plants purify the air, struggle with the climate change, give us food, shelter from the warm weather and make sure the gentle rains. They beautify the environment and turn the place into a heaven on the earth. They give shelter to the birds who in return sing sweet songs for us. Such soothing atmosphere created with the planting of trees spreads a message of peace and harmony to the entire world. Thus, trees are beneficial for all of us. How has the poet described a tree in second stanza? The poet has described a tree as symbol of glory. Trees are the sources of many useful means. They provide cool shade for summer and tender rains in all seasons. They are reproduced by merely planting a seed and bud which in turn blooms in coming times. They please the environment and serve as the living legacy for the next generation. Which line has been repeated? Why? The line repeated in the poem is what does he plant who plants a tree? Each stanza opens up with the same line, which is an interrogative form. This is repeated to lay emphasis on the importance and value of planting trees. One who plants a tree plants enormous things along with it. The answer is provided by the poet himself in the subsequent sentences. Which social and ecological benefits of tree plantation does the poet refer to here? The poet refers various benefits of tree plantation. Trees give us food, shelter and fresh air. They both purify and beautify the environment we live in. Without any discrimination, trees are beneficial to all the beings in the surrounding. They act as a home for birds whose sweet humming brightens our lives. In what way is a tree the harvest of coming age? The outcome of tree plantation is bountiful. They reward the environment with all the necessary resources. Trees tend to live very long, some lasting for several thousand years. So the benefits we derive from trees extend as long as the tree lives. What else gets planted on the earth besides seed and bud? The tree planter actually plants seed and bud. These two things are the basic means to reproduce a tree. But the result of the plantation brings about abundant resources without which we cannot exist. By planting a seed and bud, we plant a joyful and healthy future. We plant the heritage of the forest and a tremendous joy for the generations which is yet to be born on the earth. Explain his blessings on the neighborhood. Trees are a form of blessings to us from nature. They hold our joy and existence on earth. One who nurtures a tree does good to himself and all those in his surrounding. Tree plantation brings about a sense of unity in the neighborhood. Tree planter does civic good. How? Civic good is doing good for the environment or society we live in. A tree planter not just ensures good for himself but for the society as a whole. By plantation, one ensures health, well-being, community development and pollution control. Tree plantation is a very thoughtful act which directly or indirectly benefits the whole society. Well, there is one more question. Do you agree with the poet that a nation's growth depends upon the wealth of trees? Why? Why not? Yes, I agree with the poet that the nation's wealth depends upon the wealth of its trees. There are various economic benefits of afforestation. Trees make a massive contribution to our livelihood, economic development, and to the gross national economy. The resources derived from trees help to produce commodities. Trees are ageless, and the benefits received from them are in abundance. They create economic opportunities, increase property value, and business growth. This way, trees promote national growth of a country. Which value does one calculate with tree plantation? Who holds the growth of the land? Tree planting includes the values of love and loyalty among the people in the society. When one benefits the others unconditionally, he or she develops a sense of care and honesty within. The growth of our land is in our own hands. Being responsible citizens of our nation, we must acknowledge the necessity of making our environment clean and green with the help of trees. We should land to the utmost cultivable level, which will lead to the country's growth and development. Is the poem The Heart of the Tree relevant? Is the poem The Heart of the Tree relevant to our times? How? Yes, this poem is absolutely relevant to our times. Though the poem was written long time ago when there was no ecological imbalance observed, it appears to showcase the current scenario. With its universal application, the poem shows current time where we are facing acute deforestation. Agriculture being our national occupation, trees forms a vital part as they prevent land erosion and help to maintain the ecological balance. Thus, we should preserve our trees and plants with great care. Thank you very much.